Welcome back. As we promised in our intro, we are going to go into a story of success. An Egyptian entrepreneur who decided to enter Guinness record, 150 kilometers in the Nile River rowing in a kayak. Just try to imagine from Aswan to Damietta. I really cannot imagine, but we are going to start from scratch and we are going to ask him about the idea itself. How did it come to his mind? Let me first welcome my dear guest live here in the studio, Mr. Hatem Kandil, or Engineer Hatem Kandil to be accurate. A very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Let's start from scratch. How the idea itself came to your mind?
Actually, it started in 2010 when I came back to Egypt for an assignment. And during that assignment, I was going for rowing every weekend. And during the weekend rowing, normally we face few things in the Nile, which was against the environment wherever I found around the world. So I decided to think about doing something positive about the Nile. That was in 2010, but unfortunately 2011 I didn't manage to do it, and I get transferred outside of Egypt 2011. When I've been outside of Egypt, I kept the idea in mind. With the time passing, I found, okay, that maybe I'm not going to be able to do it if I'm going to be staying all my life out of Egypt. Then when I came back to settle in Egypt 2018, I decided that, okay, that it's about time to think about it seriously. So I settled my business, settled everything around, and then I said, okay, it's about time. So the environment is a main driver. Being around the world for many years, I came back with an idea that I need to do something not only for environment, but about kids. But I didn't speak about kids this time in my journey until I proved the concept that I can make the 1,200 plus kilometers rowing from Aswan to Ras Al Bar. But it's like contribution to the country in a positive way, without just sitting and criticizing, and see how I'm going to be able to have a social responsibility toward kids mainly in the future.
Yeah, but you know, preparing for the journey, it was not an easy job. How have you had this in mind, the logistics, the way, I mean, just to start it, it's great, but maybe there are going to be stops and you are going to find things which you should be that flexible, you should deal with them.
Tamam. Yes. Number one, it's a state of mind.
Number one.
This is number one. That, okay, that if you have the state of mind that you will make it regardless of the challenges or obstacles you'll face during the journey, and you put that in mind, and it will happen regardless, then you are prepared psychologically. So the mindset is there, psychologically you're there, the body will follow. So in 2012, until I came back to Egypt, I accustomed to join or participate in competitions indoor rowing for long distances for 30 days and things like that.
For how many days, sir?
30 days.
30 days?
Yes.
A month?
Yes.
Okay.
Complete. I remember the first one I joined or I participated in Texas, and the organizer was looking at me and she was like, yeah, okay. An Egyptian just arrived, he's trying to
prove something.
Not to prove even, let him try.
Yeah, just like that, en passant, as the French are saying. But I think you proved a lot.
I made it to be the first, and I enjoyed taking them
by surprise.
By surprise,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then when going back to your question, that the preparation started in last year for the event. I start by thinking about the logistics, the physical therapy person that needs to join me, because I'm going to be rowing every day, so I need to make sure that the lactic acid is going to be getting out of the body every day by the end of the day, so I'm going to be able to ready for rowing next day.
Then you made it on a scientific base.
Yes.
And as you've kindly mentioned, mental fitness was not less important for you than physical fitness.
It is,
But
yes.
I wanted just to know, let me put my question in other words. Have you put just the map of Egypt like that and you have made some stops
Yes.
on the map?
Yes.
For each city you are going to stop in, or each even in the countryside, a village or something.
مظبوط. Yes,
And
100% correct.
and then on moving on, you made alternatives. I mean, you said that I should always have a plan B. If something went wrong here, then I'm going to go to
It
plan
happened all
B.
the time.
Okay, let us know. Would you please elaborate, sir?
تمام. The thing that okay that you made the plan, but there's something all the time called plan B and C even, because you cannot control the mother nature, which is the weather,
Tide.
the tide, the wind, all these things is out of control. So having the rowing plan to have 40 to 50 kilometers every day was not the case. It happened that okay that some days I rode for 15 kilometers because there was no way to continue. People they underestimate from far that okay that the Nile behavior when there's a big high wind or when the situation of the nature is not really friendly. So the plan went to 15 and 18 kilometers in some days, and went all the way up to compensate in other days when the weather was good and the water was suitable for rowing to 76 plus.
76.
Yes.
Not even 50.
76 some days.
Yeah, great. Regarding, you know, all the time, sir, when I'm with an athlete or someone who was preparing for such a big mission like the one you have been through, I always ask this question, and I'm all the time thrilled with the answer. By the middle of it, haven't it just crossed your mind that what the hell I've done to myself? Why I've put myself into this?
Yeah.
I just want to give it a stop right now, and I'm not going to continue, and enough is enough. What about these sentences, and if they just crossed your mind by the middle of the journey?
No.
How?
Okay. Spending every day minimum 2 to 3 hours per day by yourself between water, the sky, air, and beautiful sight scenes, it gives you enough time for meditation. So working with your brain and soul, it makes you feel that okay, that I'm enjoying the pain, even if it's really painful. Sport, which is rowing, is not an easy one, but every day I start to feel okay. I want to go to continue my own time with me. So that's well another thing, which is
meditation.
Meditation. Actually, my team. Actually, I lost my team in Cairo. One of them had back issue. The other one got to the chance, which is
by all means, he had something wrong.
Exactly.
And a fever or stuff or something like that.
So the team actually tried in Cairo to stop me and say, okay, let's forget about continue to Dumyat and the Mediterranean.
And enough is enough from Aswan to Cairo. It's great.
بالظبط, yeah, for your age and on all these things. And I was like, okay, forget it. You guys, you can retire. I will continue.
Sir, as far as I know, that you've started rowing since you were 15 or something.
13.
13.
Yes.
And the very first time you had a title or you had a medal in your hand, it was in 1986.
Exactly.
How was this feeling? The very first time medal.
It was, if I remember it correctly, it was okay. We've done it.
Yeah. You know, sir, I'm asking this question because maybe those moments, the unforgettable ones, sometimes they are the motive behind many things and many decisions in our lives.
True.
Was it one of the main factors behind continuing the same way, or it's just self-satisfaction? You want to do something to satisfy Hatem and Kandil?
Look, self-satisfaction happens in many ways. Sport is a lifestyle.
Amen.
If you look at it, that okay, that looking for satisfaction, it's very limited, in my opinion, way to look at sport. But sport it has a lot to character. You learn every day that okay, that how it's important for you to go through the pain, the thrill, everything that okay, you go through it, and how that helps you a lot, even in your day-to-day, in your life, in personal life, in business, everything. It affected the rowing affected my career big time. Don't give
Negatively?
up. Positively, for sure.
This is it. This is what I wanted to hear. And this is also the tip or the piece of advice we want to give to everyone who had sports in mind and in his or her heart. It will never affect negatively your career. On the contrary,
No.
you are going to achieve a lot with and through sports. True?
100%. It goes without saying. Actually, one of the companies that I joined, it was one of the things that made me get accepted, that my sports background.
Great.
Because actually they found okay that if you manage to do this, that means you're gonna be having that drive, inner drive to do anything that okay, related to business and to your work.
And you know a lot about crisis management, you know a lot about organizing your mind, you know a lot about system. And knowing a lot about the system is very important. But in addition to all this, you should have a role model. Who was your role model?
Muhammad Ali Clay.
No, in rowing.
And rowing, there are many. There was
Mine was late Ali Ibrahim.
Kolba.
Yeah.
Kolba in the 80s was, he was an amazing rower. And when you look at him, you actually it was for me like
let
very
me get a little bit far from
interesting.
the achievement you have done, and we are going to go to also His Excellency Minister of Sports and Youth, Dr. Ashraf Subhi, and how he met you and how he awarded you, and how about even knowing about this event or the whole issue from A to Z. But going to rowing, you know, many athletes, when they are practicing a sport with something, you know, for you it's the boat or the kayak.
The rowing boat.
The rowing boat.
Yes.
For the racket games, it's the racket.
Mazboot.
For the horse riding, it's the horse. Every athlete with his boat, in your case with rowing, there is a special bond.
Mazboot.
Maybe you talk to it. You consider it as something living, as a living creature. And when you are in, then you are one piece.
True.
Is this true? And how do you manage that? I wanted to hear from you, sir. Would you please elaborate on this?
It's very strange.
And I like this smile because it really proves that I am right to ask these questions.
100%. When you're completely alone with your body, which is the boat, I call it my body. When the water is high and the wind is really bad and all these things is against you, then you start to speak with it and say, okay, we'll do it, right? And actually, sometimes you feel okay, like okay, it's proving to you that okay, that regardless of the situation, you will get out of it. There are many things I went through it, and actually it was all the time. There is a communication. Actually, I was trying to. There was a boat monitoring me from distance. Whenever they tried to come close to me, I was like saying to them, "Please stay away as much as possible, at least 1.5 or 2 kilometers away from me, because I want to have my own way of talking to everything around me. The boat, the paddle."
The Nile.
The Nile. I'm sure I don't want to say the Nile, even the birds, everything around me. Sometimes the donkeys that were looking at me on shore, and I was looking at them, and they were like staring at me. It was sometimes really funny to. I don't want to see, to be.
No, sir. Tell you something. What you're talking about is really great, because when you are just among all these creatures in our nature, this is it. Maybe this is one of the cores we have during practicing sports. And maybe what you're talking about is one of the reasons behind the success of this event.
true. Speaking to everything around you, and
Yeah.
you hear them replying back their way.
Their way.
مظبوط.
His Excellency Dr. Ashraf Sobhi
Doc-
meeting you. Yeah.
Dr.
So-
Ashraf Sobhi and Dr. Yasmin Fouad, both of them actually. Dr. Ashraf Sobhi, the communication was done early by Dr. Amr Nouri, the head of the chair of the rowing federation.
Egyptian Federation of
Yes,
Rowing.
exactly.
Yeah.
And he was trying from day one, Dr. Amr Nouri, to communicate with the minister. And I told him, okay, please let me do one thing first. I want to make sure that I will cross certain distance, and when I cross those lines, make the communication, because I don't want anyone to start to speak about the event or connect to the media that there's someone trying to do something, and it's not going to happen. So when I crossed Asyut, Dr. Ashraf Sobhi and Dr. Amr Nouri, they started to, I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
They started to communicate with me. I asked Dr. Amr Nouri that, okay, let's keep everything
low profile
as much as possible, and I didn't manage to control it to be low profile. Then Dr. Ashraf Sobhi started to communicate personally with me from Cairo until Dumyat, and asking me if there is anything I need, and. We agreed that, okay, that during the event, as soon as I reach Ras Al Bar, he wants to meet with me, and we'll see what and how I can support the rowing. And actually, he had a question in the middle. He said, okay, very good achievement and congratulations. I told him, okay, by the way, this is a proof of concept. We'll start from here. And he was like, starting what? I said, okay, when I reach Ras Al Bar, that means phase 1 is done. We proved the concept. We'll start phase 2. And then he was like, okay, no, I want to hear phase 2.
Yeah.
You need to come and meet with me and tell me what is phase 2. So we had a very long discussion. Actually, it was very, I didn't expect that we spent 1.5+ hours discussing what's coming next. It was the presence of Dr. Amr Nouri, and we agreed on a few steps that, okay, they're going to be supporting many initiatives in Egypt as part of my responsibility toward, you call it social responsibility.
Social corporate responsibility, CSR.
Exactly, CSR, whatever it is. But plus the engagement I had during the trip with the kids.
This is another issue.
That was the main topic for
the main topic, kids and environment.
Yes.
And this is a practical way to teach kids what to do to preserve your environment, to live healthy, and to prepare this place for the coming generations. They are going you're going to hand this place to other generations, and they should enjoy it clean, and they should lead a healthy life. How was it, sir? I mean, dealing with kids, it's not an easy mission.
The beauty of the south of Egypt is completely not limited to the nature of the Nile or the sightseeings or all these. It's the people, the kids. The kids, theirs completely different. You feel like you're dealing with a young man. It's 12 years old or 8 years old, and they are communicating with you, and actually they are offering things. You hear it only from
big ones.
Yeah, exactly, from elder ones.
Yeah.
The beauty also that none of them didn't, in any village I stopped for rest or for the overnight sleep until next day morning, they didn't ask for what is this and how we can try it and why we don't have one here. And that for me was enough to promote rowing across the Nile, and also to discover one of the things that we discussed it with Dr. Ashraf and Dr. Amr Nouri. I discovered many potential Olympic rowers.
Okay. This was also another question, because whenever I'm speaking about with someone who's practicing rowings for tens of years now, I can easily say that you are a scouter. You have an eye, and you would easily know the difference between someone who would just practice for fun and another who can be an Olympic champion. Okay, would you
Yes.
please elaborate, sir?
Okay. If there is a picture on my mobile, I don't share
By
it
the
with
way, we were all the time watching your pictures. While speaking all the time, your pictures were there, just speaking about this journey while we were speaking on it live here in the studio. So let's continue with the eye behind the camera.
Uh, when you look at the kids, 12 years old and 13 years old and 17 years old, they are rowing using the heavy fishing boats. You enjoy the way that كده they're you enjoy the way that كده you can discover the right ones, that they can be easily be an Olympic ones. And this is what we discussed with Dr. Ashraf Sobhi. I told him, okay, I got those people, and actually I got their contacts, and we will do some measurement for them in a couple of weeks' time. And hopefully that one of them will be an Olympic champion.
Inshallah.
By us.
I'm eager to know about phase 2.
تمام.
Okay, but unfortunately we're running out of time. But sir, we are going to leave you with a promise to see you in more episodes and to speak in detail about phase 2.
Inshallah, sure. تمام.
We were very much delighted to have with us engineer Hatem Kandil, someone who broke the impossible for once, and I think that he is going to continue the same way. Guinness record is waiting for our names to be written there as Egyptians, and particularly this initiative or this event is close to all our hearts and minds because it was in our Nile River.